and we'll get started here. So, how's everybody's week been?
Fine.
Any comments, questions, any concerns, any struggles for the week? Everybody had a wonderful week and not a problem, and the weight's just falling off, and we're not stressed, and we're sleeping awesome, and drinking all our water, right?
Sure, let's go with that.
Yeah. No problem.
I mean, my week hasn't been perfect, but I mean, I know that I'm going to have times where I falter and I just don't beat myself up for it and I pick up and move on.
Perfect. So. Perfect. You know, and the idea too is when you do have a rough day or whatever, and I know different people have had rough days here, you know, the idea is you're learning from that. Okay, what happened, why, and go from there. Say, okay, this is what happened. This is why it happened. You know, you don't want to keep making excuses for it, but you know, okay, things happen. So, right. What can I do different so this doesn't keep happening? Because that's why we've not been successful with attaining health and keeping health on, because we're not learning what we did wrong and what do we do differently. And that's where we learn with the Habits of Health. You know, Dr. Anderson has some wonderful ideas there. He read through his ebook. I mean, he's got some great things to do as far as what you do for the Habits of Health, do to, you know, when you have a stressful situation. Great information. So, you know, learn from it and then move on. So that you're learning from this and you're taking the next step forward, so that doesn't happen again. But again, it's going to happen. So, you know, any other struggles? People are getting their water in okay? And how's people weight? Is your weight off? Are you near your 6%? Anybody having issues with that?
I'm not anywhere near my weight loss. I know that for sure. But we are still working on my thyroid issues. My levels still aren't back to normal yet. And plus, I haven't done like 100%. I just know that I've done better than the last round. So small baby steps for me. So I'm not close. And I did have 2 weeks where I was pretty sick. So I didn't get to implement exercise until like last week. So, and then, you know, my food choices have been good for the most part, but then there's been a couple times where I faltered a little bit. So I'm just trying to work on breaking the habits and finding out why and moving on from that. So I know the next challenge I might be closer to hitting a goal than this time. I'm not kicking myself over it, though.
Okay. Well, that's good. And again, too, I'm going to talk about this more next week as far as what you do after the 6-week challenge. We're going to talk about more of that next week. So, you know, you're supposed to be learning habits of health. You're supposed to be like, okay, what I did for 6 weeks, it doesn't end at 6 weeks. It's like, you know, you want to continue and you want to do, okay, this is what I've learned, and I'm going to institute those learning things and then just keep moving on. Because it doesn't come off in 6 weeks. We know that. But you're just, in the 6 weeks, it wasn't about the weight loss as much as it was, what do I need to do to change my habits? You know, I mentioned this last week, you know, learning good habits and getting good habits under your belt and doing them on a regular basis are just as hard to break as bad habits. So the idea is that you have to do things on purpose. And what I mean by that is you need to, instead of getting up and stumbling out of bed and walking in, going to the bathroom, and then grabbing a cup of coffee and dressing and going to work, and then, you know, going through your whole day and not even thinking about how you drove to work, how you started your day, how you did this. You know, half the time you go through your day and you think, and you go to bed that night and you go, what did I do today? You know, it's getting up and saying, okay, it's a great day. I'm going to get out and go for a walk, and putting your shoes next to your bed, and, you know, so that it's like, okay, this is what I'm going to do every day because I got my shoes here. It's going to remind me to get up and go get in my shoes and go for a walk before I go to work or go to the gym. You know, and have my cup of water sitting right next to where the bathroom is. So, okay, after I empty my bladder, I drink my full glass of water. Have it right there ready to go, so that you're doing things on purpose. You're consciously thinking about what are the things you are going to change, okay? And by doing those things, you're thinking about, okay, this is what I'm going to change this week. And if you have to do one habit of health each week, that's what you're teaching you them. Okay, then adapt it until you get it as a habit. I mean, if water is a struggle for you, then work on water until you get to the point where you're drinking 80 ounces of water every day. And not saying, oh, well, I had a good day, I had a bad day, I had a good day. Okay, why did I have a bad day? Tomorrow I'm going to have a better day. And what am I going to do to make it a better day? and not having like, okay, well, so, Sally had a party, so, well, I had to go to the party and I had to eat what they had because otherwise I'd feel weird, No, you're going to plan, say, I'm going to Sally's party, but I'm either going to eat before or I'm going to bring something that's healthy. Keep a bar in your purse of some kind of protein bar that you can have that, I'm not going to be tempted to have the cake you're having, or, I'm not going to have, 4 glasses of wine or, 7 beers that you might normally have, okay, if you want a beer, have a beer. Now, maybe have a light beer or not any alcohol if you want. You've got to make choices of what's going to be, a conscious decision of how you're going to make some changes. So that's kind of the summing up from our week here. I want to talk a little bit about making, stress. We talked about stress and sleep habits and things, kind of the gist of what we did this week on a lot of our readings and stuff. And there was kind of some neat, interesting things to do for de-stressing and relieving stress and all. We were talking about it. Actually, my brother John and his wife and their son came for dinner tonight. So we were talking about that. And we always, when we get together as family and all, we always do a lot of laughing. That's my family. We're just, it's crazy. So if, putting things around you that make you laugh, watching funny videos or a TV show or being with friends and, laughing or things like that, if that's what is going to make you laugh and make you happy, well, guess what? That's going to relieve stress. So if you're having a bad day, Kira, I know you had a couple of bad days, crazy work days and stuff. If you're having a bad day, what is it that really makes you laugh or happy or, and that's what you do at the end of a day. I was just first thinking about moving to Florida, and I was working up in New Jersey, and oh God, we had horrendous days, and I'd work, anywhere from, 10, 12-hour days on your feet all day, run, seeing patients in a hospital. I was a nurse practitioner up there, and it was very stressful. And we were thinking about moving down here, and I called one of the guys who was a cardiology fellow who is now a cardiologist down here in Naples, and I called him and I said, I'm thinking about moving to Florida. And he goes, oh, best thing you could ever do. He says, when I have a bad day, what I do is I drive along the beach and I just look at the water. And that's the best relief I could ever have. And so I've instituted that, when I have a bad day, even I had a bad day in the morning, and I'd call Ed up here and he'd meet me for lunch over on the causeway with the water, and we'd see a dolphin show at lunchtime. And it's like, who could have it any better? So find what works for you to help you de-stress and have that around you, because you're going to have stress in your life. Stress doesn't leave. Stress is always there. So what you want to do is what works and what can I do, like even if it's like while I'm at work here, what can I do if it's like crazy at work, if I can go in like the ladies' room and sit in the stall and do some deep breathing. Well, maybe you don't want to do deep breathing in there, but find a place where you can go in a closet or something, and where you can just relax and just get away from it for like 5 minutes and just be by yourself, and then use that as your de-stressing time, because doing 12 hours of stressful day is horrible, and you come home and you're just exhausted. You're just exhausted. So having that where you're instituting it into your daily life, and even if it's meditation for like 5 minutes, where you can just sit there and close your eyes and go into your space and meditate on something or have something to look at or whatever, and just go find a quiet place to sit. That's awesome. Especially like I said, if you're in a job where you just can't get away, 5 minutes in a quiet place or a conference room or something where you can just like close the door and just not think about it. Or even if you're at home, go find a quiet little room by yourself and just sit by yourself. Those are great things. If it's, tell a funny joke to a bunch of people, and get everybody laughing. That's a great way of getting laughing. We also talk about hugging. Hugging your spouse, hugging a significant other, hugging your friend. That's, just having that, that just, you feel like you're almost like letting it go, off onto their shoulders, or, letting it relieve itself. Those are great things to, they seem like something simple, but if it's something you institute in your life, where you incorporate those things, it really works. But you have to practice it. If it's meditation and you're not used to meditating, just get some earphones and sit quietly and just put some music on and just think of some calming things. Don't think of my day and like, and what I have to do when I get home, or I got to make dinner and I got to get the kids together. I have to do this, that. Think of what it is. Go to your happy place. I used to tell patients that. Go to your happy place and just think about that and just relax and meditate on just that. And just take a couple minutes to yourself and practice it on a daily basis so that if you are in a stressful situation, you can just close your eyes and you can get in that happy place without even thinking about it. You just do it, because you've already practiced that. Any thoughts on this? Anybody practice something like this or that's helped this week for them that they've talked about in any of the readings? Hang on, Sharon. Let me take you off mute. Hang on. Oh, unmute. Go ahead, Sharon.
Oh, I was just noticing like the other day, connecting my mind to like emotional eating, just because sometimes it's like, in the past I've always been an emotional eater. Something wasn't going right, it's like, oh well, let's go have a meal and celebrate, or anything like that. So this week, we had some things go on that weren't pleasant, and I thought about it, I was like, wow, it'd be nice to have like a piece of chocolate or something, but I didn't fall into that. I connected it that it's my emotions. So I try to do things that would change that for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like go take a walk or go drink some water or something like that, or make a nice hot tea. But, it kind of helped me realize why it was that I wanted to eat something that I knew wouldn't be good for me.
Mm-hmm. So that's helped you then?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Anybody else, what works for them, has tried anything this week that they might have done something different than and it's helped them as far as making some changes? I mean, I was an emotional eater too, and when I would get very stressed at work, it's funny because the girls at work would call Ed and say, "Babe, it's a bad day, have a glass of wine for you." So he'd have a glass of wine, and then I'd put that, of course, in chocolate or something like that, and that was what I was an emotional eater. I would eat when I was stressed out, when I had a bad day, and it got to the point, well, I had a bad day, got to stop for chocolate, have a glass of wine, and it was like, and it's bad habits you get into, and you use it almost as an excuse, and it's not really helping you. It doesn't make you feel better. It might for the moment, but it certainly doesn't make you feel better. It actually is going to make you feel worse in the long run. So, but like I said, you've got to go through those things, and you've got to realize what works for you, what doesn't, and find something that's going to work for you. That is something more on the healthy line, obviously, because like I said, those other things we think they may help, but they don't. They only make things worse. And actually, alcohol leads to depression. So if you used alcohol and as something that was for stress relief or a bad day or whatever, which is what I was doing, it actually is more depressing. So it's going to make you feel worse in the long run. So anyway, other ideas. Go ahead. Hang on, Jen. Let me take you off.
I think I got it.
Go ahead.
I know I like singing. I always find myself singing when I'm most stressed out. I know that's not necessarily a quiet thing, but I'm sure it helps with the breathing and just kind of taking your mind off something else. So I'm sure that ties in with music too. But yeah, when I'm most stressed out, I'm usually singing, and it's usually like alone in my car or in the apartment, somewhere where I'm not worried about impressing anybody. But I do that. But then also my friend was up yesterday, and we went to the mall and stuff, and I found myself talking to her about how I always want to go and like get coffee when I'm out with people, or like when people come up, I feel like we have to get pizza, and just kind of being aware that that's how it goes for me, to the point where I was having a conversation about it. Really, I think it probably helped me more than anything to realize that I am starting to make these habits, and I just need to keep going, and they will become completely habits in my life. Mm-hmm. So that was something cool that I found out about myself this week.
So do you want to give us an example of songs you sing when you're like in your car or something?
Example, whatever comes to mind. I sing like one line of 10 different songs. I don't know.
Go ahead.
I would sing in the shower, but I'd scare the water back into the spigot.
But you're right. Singing is great. It's great. I mean, like I found too, like, you know, I put oldies on, you know, and it's not even, you don't have to sing along. It's just like next thing you know, you're tapping, you know, Jen, I know you don't appreciate the oldies. Laura, Kira, you don't appreciate the oldies as much as we do, but you know, you do good. Okay. Well, but again, it's something lively, something that's got a beat to it. You know, next thing you know, you're tapping your foot and you know, and next thing you're smiling. You don't even realize it, but it really helps. So putting on music, dancing around while you're doing cleaning, you know, or when you're doing work, you know, at work, you know, put your headphones on if you can do that. But it does help. It does kind of liven you up. So that's good. Go ahead. I'm used to so good. Go ahead, Laura.
I don't know if anybody watches Grey's Anatomy, but I'm like a big fan of the Christina and Meredith, like just, you know, get rid of everything and just do a dance, like the most ridiculous dance thing in their house. Now normally they add tequila to that, but you know, like normally they would call them their dance parties.
Yeah.
And like I'm a big fan of that, you know, like I don't really do that myself, but I could see that really helping like with a lot of things. Like actually when I used to be really stressed out with homework and I would have really long study sessions, I would put on some music. I sing to myself as well. And sometimes I would just get up and put a song on and dance for a little bit because it got the blood moving again. And so it really does. It helps with a lot of things. It just clears your mind, and it also gets your body up and moving. So it like re-energizes you at the same time.
You know, you're exactly right. They talk about like if you're thinking of an idea and you're getting stuck and you're working on homework or whatever, and you're trying to, if you get up and get the circulation going and exercise or moving around a little bit, you actually come back to that and realize that, you know, oh, and you think of something else, and you actually does kind of, like I said, get the blood circulation in the brain, and you do think of some things. So it actually is very helpful that way. Anybody else? Kira, what do you do for stress relief here? Hang on, because I know you had some bad days here. So what's helped for you?
Well, I guess to use this week as an example, I just sort of designated a day for myself where I can do things that will make me happy or make me laugh. I try to spend time with my family, also play video games, have a little alone time. But just knowing that Sunday was going to be a day exclusively for me, got me through the double shift and the incident reports with the fighting and everything. So that helps me just, you know, making sure I have a time set aside, especially for myself, that's uninterrupted and is exactly what I want to do.
Good, good. Very positive. Very good. Good. Anybody else? Carly, you have any ideas here you want to express? Hang on. Let me get you off here. Let me get you unmuted here.
I like to dance.
You like to dance? Yeah, I know, because we usually get up there and dance together here.
I like to put the music on and just dance.
Yeah.
Get things popping, get me energized.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to get shook off, so you can kind of look at me.
Well, you know, like I said, everybody's got their own thing, you know, but it really does. You next thing you know, like I said, you don't even realize it. You're smiling, you're laughing, you're, you know.
I like that,
Yeah. Well, that's good. So the positive things, like you said, these are things we've learned each week, and again, they've kind of gone on each topic, you know, of different. He kind of covers all of them every day, but he's focused on different habits, and this week was one stress and sleep and stuff. So, like I said, you don't want to leave these 6 weeks of, okay, we did them, okay, I learned them, whatever. Go back and look at the readings. They don't take off the website once you can still get on, as Laura and Kira know. You know, you can go back on and log in, and they don't take it off. So you can always go back in and look at all the past readings and everything. Make sure you look at those, the different recipes and things like that too, and copy them so that you have those available. And also the different exercises, because I know we look at the videos each day, but there's different segments, again, for men or women, and, you know, from beginner to advanced. Looking at those things too and seeing what, you know, so you can learn a different exercise. You can incorporate some different things to do. Targeting, you know, maybe your upper body one day and then your lower body the next day, you know, so start working on those things. Again, if you haven't done exercises, you don't want to incorporate anything very strenuous. You want to just basically start off with just walking and things like that at first. Yes, Carla?
There were 2 days that the exercise video repeated itself.
Yes.
Is there going to be another one or an extra one, or
I don't know when it does that. It drives me crazy. They did this last time too, and I don't know if it just gets stuck or doesn't come through. But you can always go on the other information, and it has all the different exercises. So if you see a repeat, just go on and just pull out one of the other ones and look at that, just so you can something different. I don't, like I said, they're dealing with a website for, I don't know how many thousands of people here. So sometimes it comes up as repetitious, but we just click past it and we'll go open a different one and look at a different one that day.
It's the same one I saw yesterday.
Yeah, but you can go on the other information underneath where the points are in the next section down. There's exercise videos, and you can open up and go under like women beginners or women advanced, and then there's men beginners, men advanced, and you can open up those exercises and it'll have upper body, lower body, and it'll have triceps, biceps, and abs, and you pull up what area you want and then just open the exercise. Those other ones are just for your points, and then go open up other exercises that you want to incorporate in whatever you're doing in your routine.
Okay.
And just kind of add a different exercise. Like if you haven't done enough for your, like they concentrate on the deltoids, then they go around to the biceps, and then they try to do the squats, and then they do the abs. So they try to rotate it. But if it's something else you want to learn, then go on there and pick out an area in the body that you want to concentrate on. If you're more interested in your abs, and do more in the ab ones. Then you can pick out which ones you want in addition. That's just to get you doing something. So, and that's why they only give you like a real short segment of them too. So they're just trying to introduce some things to you. What else here? John, do you have any questions here? I know I'll mute you. I don't know if you've had a chance to talk because you're muted. How about you, John? You have any questions or additives, or are you there?
No, I reached my goal weight this week.
Awesome.
And
yay!
I learned a long time ago in yoga how to deal with stress and use that on a regular basis.
Good. So that's specifically you started doing yoga as far as relaxing, meditation, things like that?
Well, mostly yoga, breathing.
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
Exercise.
Good. Okay. All right. Any challenges coming up?
Now can I have ice cream?
No. No. We had a healthy dinner, and we had a healthy dessert, and that's it. I had to bring him here to get something healthy here, so no, I'm kidding. Actually, his wife is very good at getting him healthy meals. So, and I have to tell you, John works in an office in New York when he's up there. He works in New York and Sarasota, but when he's in New York, he has they have somebody that helps with their meals and everything, and he has them making him healthy meals. So he can't even cheat now because the chef will only make them healthy meals.
Lucky him.
Unless I bribe him.
Unless you bribe him. Yeah.
And I'm cheap.
You're cheap. So he's not going to be bribed easily then. So anybody have any challenges coming up for the week that they're concerned about or have issues? The team can maybe give you some support of any kind, or no double shifts, Kira, this week? No, that's good. Oh, who knows? Well, see, you're going to do better this week because you dealt with it last week. So now it's going to be a piece of cake. So, okay. Well, like I said, this was kind of our we're getting into the final finales here. So, we want to get close to get to our little weight. If you're having issues with your weight and you're not getting your 6%, you're welcome to give me a call. I can talk, maybe see if there's areas I can help you with, calories you're eating and, give you some ideas, so if there's something I can help you with, certainly give me a call. Again, the important thing is not so much weight loss on this as it is learning the habits of health. That's what we're trying to incorporate more. What are you learning from this, and what are you going to take away from this so to make a change in your life? So if that's all, if we've done that, then that's what our goal was. But again, by doing those things, you're going to start to see some changes. And like I said, if this is new to you, then it's hard. It's hard to kind of get started. So, if you've lost any weight at all, then this is a plus. If you've made some changes and changed some habits in your life, then this is a plus. But whatever you've learned, make sure you continue those habits so you get those good habits that you had so that you'll break the bad habits and you don't fall back into them. Because that's what happens when people go on diets and they don't learn what they should have done to change. Then what happens is they got the weight down for the wedding they had to go to, or the class reunion or whatever, and then they put it right back on afterwards because it doesn't matter, because they lost it for a particular occasion. They didn't lose it for the right reason. They didn't lose it for the fact that they wanted to get healthier. They wanted to prevent disease from happening, because again, habits, the habits of disease form from, obesity is the biggest thing, eating bad, more sugars than they're supposed to be eating. It leads to diabetes, it leads to circulatory problems, leads to high blood pressure, leads to heart disease, leads to stroke. And these are major things. And the thing is, you don't want to say, well, I'll wait till that happens and then deal with it. Well, you know what? You had a stroke and you're, having issues moving to one side or having trouble talking. That's not the time to want to say, okay, well, I want to make some changes in my life. Or when you're having to give yourself insulin, that's not when you want to change. You want to make changes now so that you're not having these issues. You want to make the habits of health happen now so that you're not having these issues later. Or if you have those issues going on, you can actually reverse them and even sometimes get off medications. So, but like I said, the first steps first is getting to where you're actually learning them and making some transition. And they happen slowly. This isn't going to happen overnight, because you didn't develop the bad habits overnight. You're not going to develop good habits overnight, but you're going to work at them. And that's what's key. Don't kick yourself, beat yourself up because you did something bad one day. Say, you know what? Okay, this is what I did. This is what I learned from it. This is what I'm going to do. So, any last minute comments, questions, concerns, issues? Tell Bruce we missed him. Tell your mom we missed her, Laura. And Cheryl said they forgot about the time, so
I will.
So we'll miss them. They'll have to listen to the recording, see all our friendly faces. Okay. All right. Well, like I said, if you have any questions, certainly feel free to either message me on the challenge wall or call me, text me. And I'll see you all next week. Have a great week, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.